All right, I just want to start off by saying I appreciate you guys for joining in on this Zoom call. This is going to be my first one, so bear with me if I make mistakes or if I make pauses. I'm going to be making pauses periodically to check my notes and pauses periodically to open it up for questions. So if I go a little too fast, let me know. If you have a question, I'll open it up. And basically, I want to start off by saying who I am. My name is Montavio. I've just started trading stocks back in January. The reason why I kept doing it is because literally in like the first week or two, it started working. So it was super simple and it's been working. I told myself I didn't know nothing about stocks, but it was working. So I'm gonna keep doing it. And I wanted to learn a little bit more about the stocks. So fast forward about 5 months later, we're now in May, and I've been just consistently like making profits, net profits since then. So it's been it's been pretty weird. I wish somebody would have like told me about this like years ago when I was like in college, because we could be making a lot more money. But it's been working, and I've been making a lot of money. So I definitely want to share it with a lot of people. This is something that's been simple. This is something that's easy, and you can make a lot of money from it. And I feel like a lot of people around me don't really know about stocks, don't know how to do it, or they have this facade that it's very difficult to do. And that was my same thought process. And when I just told myself I'm gonna just try it. People keep talking about Tesla stock going up and down. I'm just gonna try it, see what it is. So I downloaded Robinhood and Cash App. If you don't have Robinhood or Cash App or Webull or any type of trading app, download it. Just take a pause and try to download it right now so you can try to follow along. But that is who I am. So I'm no marketing guru. I'm no Warren Buffett. I'm just a simple guy that started making some profits, and I want to share it with people, share what I did to make the profits. So take my advice with a grain of salt. So the overview is basically going to break down like this. I'm going to show you how to set up the app. Those of you probably already know how to set up the app, but I'm going to walk you through real quick some of the details, and then I'm going to show you how I buy stocks, how I choose the stocks, and then I'm going to show you trailing stop loss order. Trailing stop loss order is great for limiting risk, and then that'll be the end of the call. So let's get started. So in the Robinhood app, when you download it, you can see investing, how much I'm investing right now, and you can see cash. So I'm gonna start at the top with investing. Investing is how much money you have into your stocks as a whole. And that little graph right there will tell you up and down. And under cash is what you have in your Robinhood account. So it's kind of like a bank account. They just hold it there for you. So really, you might not want the cash right there, but they just announced high interest account where they pay you out interest. It's only 0.35%. So you might get paid to keep your cash in there, but I would just invest it or just keep my money. So that's what that cash means. And then down at the bottom, you have the little wallet sign. The wallet sign lets you go down to your main portfolio page, and that's where I'm at right now. And if you scroll down, it'll give you different notifications of what's going on the day. And this is where you could get certain news like Apple plans to bring employees back to office, even as tech peers hold off. You can look at the news articles. And if you scroll down, these are all the stocks that you own. And the green just means it's up today. It's up more money than it was yesterday. And the red means it's down from yesterday. And the stock market is only open during business days. So think of it like Monday through Friday around 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And I think that's Eastern time. Don't quote me on that. You can look up the specifics, but generally I look at it as the stock market is open during business hours, not including holidays on like Monday or something like that. So red means that your stock is down for the day. And these are all the stocks that you would have. Down here, you could buy cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin by selecting all. And these are your watch lists. These are kind of like your wish list, like stocks that you're watching that you want to save but not buy into just yet, and figure out like where it's going to go before you buy into it. So that's that one. And if you go over, this will show you how much cash you have and that APR interest account I was telling you about. Under the search bar, you can search up different stocks on the search bar and go buy them or just look at them or look at the news. And these will be different news cards on the stocks. So if you slide this over, you can see the top movers. And this is what I like to look at because it shows you huge, the ones that are making huge movements. So if you go into Code Diagnostics, just for example, today it went up 37%. So if you had $1,000 yesterday invested in Code Diagnostics, today you would have $1,370, which is, it's just insane. It's pretty crazy. So now if you scroll down, it'll show you like the different tags or hashtags, I like to call it, that it's featured on. And if you click on any of those hashtags, those numbers are how many businesses or how many companies are in those hashtags or the tabs. And it'll show you companies that are relative to that topic. And if you scroll down, you'll see like your history on what you did. If you bought like the stock, how much you did back in the past, so you could kind of track it. And if you scroll down even more, you could see about this company. So when I'm choosing the stock, I usually go into the stock, I look at the about, what this company is about. If I think it's a good company and they're going to be around for a long time, or they have something behind them, they have something unique or something, or it's trending, then I'll go in, I'll look at this about, and then I'll go back up and I'll look at their earnings. If the solid green circles are what their actual earnings are, and the light green circles are what the market expects for them to make every single quarter. So it's really good if the market expects a lower rate, then it actually hits. If it hits higher, usually after the news breaks, the stock goes up. So you want to have a stock before good news happen. Usually if you buy on good news, that's when people might be selling. But if you buy in before the good news, that's when the stocks is going to go up. So this next one is going to be your messages. This is going to tell you like if your stocks were fulfilled, what's going on with the stocks, what you've been doing. And if you go over to the last one, it's going to be your profile. And this is where you can get free stocks by inviting people. If you've seen like my links in my Instagram bio or like some of my stories, I'll post get your free stocks link, and then they give you a free stock and you just get like, you could sell it for money or keep it. And then this will show you where you can actually make deposits and withdrawals and statements and settings and so forth. So that's pretty much the overview. And now I'm going to show you a couple of different stocks that I've looked at in the past. Let's start out with this one. This one looks very good. And the reason why I say this one looks very good is because at the bottom of this graph here, I usually look at the graph and then I look at the 1D, the 1W, all of those things at the bottom means 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, pretty self-explanatory. And then I just found something new. You could swipe over to the different stocks. Anyways, so if you click 1 week, it'll show you what it's been doing over the past week, month, 3 months, so forth. So I like to go through all of these to figure out how the stock's been performing. If you look at each one and it's been green, that is amazing. That means the stock has been steadily growing over time. And if you look at the percentage, like I said earlier, looking at the 1 year mark, 600%, that is just insane. This is gonna be close to accurate. If you have $1,000, think you would be, after 1 year, 600% would be about $5,000. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but it's around there. It's just a crazy amount of money. Whatever, anything green, you know, is great. So back to 3 months. Anything like, I would say anything over like 25% is good. A lot of real estate investors, they make maybe at minimum like 5%. and they might expect to make like 8%. I feel like a lot of averages are like between 5 and 8%. So if you make 400% in 3 months, that is just, it's just crazy. It's insane. So I go here, I look at the chart, and as we can see here, so right now it's at $40. This is Novavax. To find out what Novavax is, you can scroll down to the about. Okay, Novavax operates as a clinical stage biotechnical technology company which focuses on discovery, development, and commercialization of vaccines to prevent infectious diseases. So this also talks about like flu and other viruses and stuff like that. Now, right now, coronavirus, even though it's very bad, it's trending right now. A lot of people invest in stocks that are trending, and if the stock is trending, that means more people are putting their money into the stock. That means the stock is going to go up. The company is going to be worth more. So looking at this, looks like they've met like their expectations almost every single quarter that it shows, except for Q2 of 2019. And I wouldn't really trust these analyst ratings right here. 57% of the 7 people say buy. I would just let that be like a little tip, but I really wouldn't trust it. And then I would look at the news. So one day ago, Novavax analyst say CEPI funding speaks volumes about coronavirus vaccine development. And just from that title, I get that they're making progress to the coronavirus vaccine. Now, anytime a company makes a major breakthrough or launches a new product that's going to go out to a bunch of people, they're going to make a lot of money. They're going to be worth a lot more. And when that happens, when you see good news about a company, typically people get emotional and they think that the stock is going to go up, so they invest more, and that's where you'll see the green. In the stats, you could see like the 52-week high. That just means for the whole year, the highest point was $44, and the lowest point with this past 52 weeks was $4. So that means if you invested $4 when it was at its lowest point, you would have like 400% your money. You would have it right now. You would have about $40. It would grew to $40. So I look at that, and then I take my finger. You could take your finger and drag it along across the graph just to see each specific date and how it's been performing. This red here just means negative. It went down that day. And usually if it goes down just a day, that's really nothing at all. The problem is if your stock starts going down, then you might get a little bit emotional that you might be losing money or something, but technically you don't lose money unless you sell it at a loss. If it's down on the day and you're at a loss, if you keep it and it goes up the next day, then you won't lose that money if you sell it the next day when you profit. The mistake I was making was when I first started stocks, I was buying Tesla and then it would go down and then I would sell it for a loss and then rebuy it and stuff like that. Now that I've learned a little bit, what I would do is instead of selling my most of my stocks at a loss, I would keep the stocks, and then if it goes down, I would buy in more because technically I consider it at a discount. It's lower than the rate I bought it for before, so I'm gonna buy more as long as you trust the company. So that's what I've been doing. And if you go to the past year, you could see this was at $4 and it did a quick spike. So here there must have been some good news about the company getting funding from the government to be able to support workers and more stuff. Maybe you haven't heard any news during this time, or coronavirus has been affecting it like most stocks. And here it just started spiking, so you can expect more good things, and spiked again, spiked again, spiked again. So that's with Novavax. This is just a crazy stock that I'm invested in. I need to buy more shares like ASAP. I'm just waiting on some more money because you would have had, let me show you. So I had 3 shares of Novavax and it says my average cost was $12. Today's return, I made $2 from this stock and my total return was $83. here in equity, as you could see right here, it's just the total amount of money you have in that stock right now. If it goes down, then that means, you know, your equity is going to go down. So total return means I made $83. So that means I bought about $40 worth of this stock, and over, I forget when I bought it. I think I bought it in March. You could check your messages. Back in March, over about a 2-month time span, it grew $80. So my $40 turned into $120, and that is amazing. Just imagine if I put in $400, that would have turned into $1,200, and just keep adding zeros. If I put in $4,000, that would have turned into $12,000. If I put in $40,000, that would have turned into $100,000. Now, this all seems crazy. This all seems like big money. The higher and higher you go. Now, I started putting more and more money when I knew I kept making profits. I wouldn't suggest putting in anything that you're not afraid to lose in the beginning, because if you lose it, then, you know, you're just going to be sad. You don't want to be in a position like that. So I would start off just investing stuff that you're not afraid to lose. And then as you get the hang of it, as you see constant profits, that's what I would do. I would add more and more. And that's what I've been doing, and it's been working. So I just recently found out how to do a trailing stop loss or a trailing stop order, whatever it's called. But basically a trailing stop order is, I would mostly use the sell button. So go to sell. I'm going to pause for a quick question we got in the chat. So I started with $50 to invest in stocks. I didn't know what I was doing, so I didn't want to put all my savings in the stocks. You never know what's going to happen. I put $50, and then a little bit later, I put $20. So total, I put $70 in the beginning of January in Tesla stock, and then a couple of days later, it grew to $76. So I was thinking, wow, I just had my money sitting there and it just made $6. If I had my money sitting in a bank, it would have made, in the next 2 days, it would have made $0. So I thought, wow, this actually works. You know, it didn't cost me anything to sign up. They even paid me to sign up with a free stock. And then from there, I started putting in more and more money and trying to have more variety in my portfolio. I started borrowing up a bunch of different stocks, and I just put like $10 in each stock because, you know, if I lose $10, you know, that's not much at all, but at least I gained some of the knowledge. So that's where I started. And just quick backstory before we finish this trailing stop loss order, it's pretty interesting actually. Before I started, let me see if I could show you. This is crazy. So you're definitely going to want to share this with a friend. So before I started, back in, okay, so let's say 1 year, Tesla. Okay, so beginning of January, Tesla was, I can't really show you on this app because I have it on the Cash app, but I'll send out the video link to YouTube where I'm actually showing you how much I made. So beginning of January, I put about $50 or so in Tesla, or $70, and it was like $469. And then I started putting more and more money. So I wasn't able to find specifically how much money I put in. It was somewhere around $5,000 to $7,000. But I am looking at the Robinhood app, and it says I was up $2,879.05 on February 4th. And I was just like, wow, I made $2,000 or $3,000 in 30 days just letting my money sit in Tesla. And then the very next day, it dropped, and then I started losing that money. What I should have done was, when it peaked, or when I thought it was peaking, when people were saying it's up too high, I should have sold it off. Then this line would have gone horizontal instead of going down. And then it went back up again, and then it dropped drastically during the coronavirus. And my mistake was not selling it, or not setting up what I just found out, the trailing stop loss order, not having that set up to where it'll sell off my stock to limit my risk before it starts trending down. So I let it lose. I lost almost all of the money I invested in Tesla. Actually, I lost almost all of the money that I made profit in Tesla. So I lost about that $2,000 that I made, I lost. And then I was like, wow, you know, in March, you know, I started making like $3,000 more. And now like I'm down to back where I started. So I invested in a company called Inovio, and Inovio, I'll show you real quick. And then we'll actually end the chat on the trailing stop loss order. So Inovio, back in around March, started trending up. I kept getting those notifications on top movers, and it started trending up. So I think I bought, oh, this is where it spiked huge. And then I think I might have bought, no, this is where I bought. So it started shooting up like in the morning. Usually good stock starts to shoot up if there's good news like in the morning. So you got to wake up. If you really want to be active, I would suggest you wake up in the morning. So I bought around this halfway point, around $7 to $8. And I just put all of my money in Inovio. I was like, wow, it looks like it's going to shoot up. And I left it. The next night, the stock market closed. And I tell myself, if I lose all this money or it starts going down, I'm just going to sell it the next day so I can get out. So I didn't have this trailing stop loss order, but if I did, it would have done this automatically. So the next day, I sold it at about $13 and I made $3,000 in about one night. That was insane. So I went from making about $2,000 to $3,000 in 30 days from Tesla to about $3,000, about the same amount over one night. At this point, I put $7,000 in Inovio, and then over the next night, it grew to $10,000, and then I cashed out. This is pretty risky, so I really do recommend trailing stop loss. And then later on, you know, I just played it safe, and then I started reinvesting in companies I know that have been around. So any questions on that, let me know down in the comments, or I'm gonna take a quick pause. I know I might be going a little fast. All right, so Aaron says, nice. Would you advise that maybe investing in oil as it went down and is likely to go up is what I'm gonna comprehend that as. So I invested in Marathon Oil. I don't know what oil stocks are the best. This is my first time investing in stocks for oil, but everybody's, like I said before, when you hear people talking about Tesla stock is booming, that means there's some action going on that you can get a piece of. So I invested I think I invested $100 into Marathon Oil to see if it's gonna go up. $100, that's really not, I'm not afraid to lose some of that. So I put that in Marathon Oil. I don't really know, oops, sorry about that, guys. I don't really know how the oil market is going to go right now, but I know eventually people are gonna need gas. Everybody doesn't have a Tesla yet. So there's so many people that still need gas. So I know the oil companies are gonna go up, just like almost every single stock is going up right now or over the last couple months. So I would invest personally into some oil, but I wouldn't invest anything. I wouldn't put all my eggs in one basket on anything, period. So that's what I did with Inovio. I forgot what I was gonna say, but let's jump right into the trailing stop loss. So this is gonna be, oh, what's going on here? Let's sell those shares. Okay, hang on. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. Okay, so trailing stop loss. So this is going to be key to limiting your risk automatically. This automatically sells off your stock if you put a percentage or a number of how much you want it to sell at. So for example, let's say the market price for the stock it goes up to $43. It's not going to sell it. If it goes down to $40, it's not going to sell it. If you put, let's say you put 20% of the trailing stop loss order, so it's going to trail that stock 20%. And if it starts going down past 20%, it's going to attempt to make that purchase as soon as possible. Now, it doesn't make the purchase always on time. Sometimes it will take until the next day to make that purchase. And that small little section, it could be a big loss. Usually you don't have to worry about that too much. That will only happen if there's a big gap in the market where it just shoots up or just rockets down. But usually I would say this is a pretty good bet to limit your risk. So trailing stop order, trailing stop loss, they're called those two things. Let's face it, if you don't put up a lot of money, you're not really going to be able to win a lot of money. If you put up $10, you'll probably only be able to win, $10 more, something like that. If you put up $10,000, you might be able to win $5,000 in a shorter period of time. But you do not want to lose huge chunks of money. So I would definitely recommend clicking over here to market order and then clicking trailing stop order and then typing in your percentage I just saw 19%. That's what I'm going to do for now on. So at this initial stop price at 32, if it trails down to $32, it's going to sell it. At the market price it is right now, it's $40. So let's say you go out and buy it right now at $40. If it goes down to about $32, it's going to sell it around $32. So you're going to lose money. But let's say you bought this right now and you don't look at your stocks for a week and it goes down to $3. You just lost all your money. But if you had this set automatically, it would sell it, so it would limit your risk. Does that make sense for everybody? Let me know down in the comments or the chat room. All right, so last thing, and then I'll open it up for anybody that wants it. A short-term versus long-term investor. If you're a short-term investor, you really got to be careful. My account was restricted for 90 days because I kept buying and selling stocks in the same day. I think that classifies you as a day trader. You have to specify or something that you're a day trader. I don't know how that works, but I would just limit the amount of times you buy and sell during the week. And if you're afraid that the stock is going down and you're losing money, try not to get too emotional. That's a big problem that I was having in the beginning. Try not to get too emotional at all because it's probably going to go up over time, especially if you look at the graph. And if the graph steadily trends upwards, if you just leave it in there in a year, based off of the graph, that it's typically going to go up. So you can either invest in stocks one of two ways. You can either invest in stocks and be an active investor and check it every day, or you can invest in stocks that are going to go up over time and just keep putting your money in every single month in the best stocks and then not checking it at all. Just let the system do its thing. And then a year from now, check it and your $500 might turn into $1,000 if you're doing good. So short-term and long-term investment, I do a little bit of both personally. I feel like being adaptive will maximize your money, but it is a risk. You can lose some money as well. So that's pretty much all I have for today. I appreciate you guys logging on to this video on the call. If this brought some value to you guys, make sure you guys share this with a friend because it definitely helped me out. I wish somebody told me this a long time ago. I would probably have at least $50,000 in my bank account. Your friends and family a favor, share this with them if they don't know about stocks or they're just getting started. And if you wanted to learn more info, just head over to my YouTube channel. I'll leave it in my Instagram bio. I talk about tech and money, and you're probably gonna want more tips as you go along that I've been learning, or leave me some more tips that I could learn personally down in the comments, or just DM me. Always looking for ways that I grow substantially in a short amount of time. And just make sure you guys stay safe out there, keep your loved ones safe. And other than that, we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.